I'll start by standing to see how that works. The speakers are working okay? Great. It is a great pleasure to be here this afternoon. It marks the culmination of a number of years of work with students here in Thailand. It's very exciting for me to be able to have been part of trying to create a formal relationship between our two universities in hopes that we can bring more students back and forth between our two countries and learn together in ways to promote sustainability in our nations. I'm going to start by saying it's a little bit odd for me to be presenting about the faculty. And the reason why I'm saying that is our faculty is very young. The faculty isn't even a decade old yet. The institute that I work at, the Natural Resources Institute that I'll tell you about in a few minutes, is over 50 years old. And I've been working at the Institute for over 20 years now. The faculty, for us, the faculty is a new thing, something that we're still trying to get a little bit used to, because our reporting relationship used to be directly to the vice president of the university, which meant we didn't have to deal with a dean. Now we have a dean. And I bring greetings from our dean. He is a very nice fellow, Norman Halden. He's a geologist. And he does some very interesting research, but we still have to deal with a new layer of bureaucracy. So for us, it's a bit of a change. But the faculty is an exciting place, and part of the reason why we were keen on joining the Faculty of the Environment was that it brought opportunities for us in terms of exposure. As I'll tell you a little bit later, our Natural Resources Institute is very small. So the faculty, and I think as you'll see as I go through these few slides, there are great similarities between our two institutions. The underlying philosophies, the sorts of things that we teach, and some of the research that both our professors and students are doing, and I've known that because of my relationship with colleagues here at the university. So, of course, on top of the heap is the Natural Resources Institute. We have a Department of Environment and Geography, the Department of Geological Sciences, the Center for Earth Observation Science, the Center for Community-Based Resource Management, and the Aboriginal Issues Press. One of the distinguishing characteristics about our faculty is that we've been very fortunate in terms of the sorts of researchers we've been able to attract to the faculty, and also the research dollars that we bring to our faculty. Per capita, in terms of research dollars, our faculty is second only to medicine in terms of funding that we bring for research. These four gentlemen are what we call Canada Research Chairs. Canada Research Chairs are sort of the elite researchers at the university, and they, well, in Canada. Dr. Hawthorne is our rock star. He's a geologist and has a rock actually named after him. So that's how he became the rock star. David Barber, I'm going to say a little bit more about in a few minutes. Interestingly, Dr. Barber, a graduate of the University of Waterloo as well, but also a graduate of the Natural Resources Institute. So he graduated from the Natural Resources Institute and then went on to do his PhD at Waterloo, and now is a Canada Research Chair and heads up much of our work in the Arctic, which I'll mention shortly. And Dr. Fichtred Burkus is a chair in my institute, the Community-Based Resource Management Chair. So again, very interested in partnerships and development with people. So as you see, we're quite small, only 43 faculty and instructors. We have 24 office staff and 9 technical staff, and we have just over 400 undergraduate students and 177 graduate students. I just wanted to highlight a few of the things that are happening in the faculty that we like to tell people about. We have a storm chasing course, storm chasing and field techniques. As you can appreciate, it's very flat in Manitoba, and one of the exciting things we have are tornadoes. So that's one of the things that the storm chasers spend time trying to study and understand. We also have a couple of field stations associated with the faculty itself, not just with the university. The Star Lake Field Station was part of the Geological Sciences program, but now that they're part of the faculty, it belongs to all of us. And it's a very beautiful location, what we call the White Shell in the boreal forest of Manitoba, and provides a base for field activities in the eastern part of the province. We have a number of different international courses and programs that we offer from the faculty. This particular course was offered by my colleague Ian Davidson Hunt. He had 2 PhD students that were working with him from Italy, and he's interested in local foods and maintaining local foods, agricultural pursuits, and so they designed a field course around that amongst different faculty members in our unit. We have a number of opportunities as part of our faculty to do research in the Arctic. I know that may not sound very exciting here. In fact, I was showing at lunch pictures. My wife sent pictures last night. We had our first snowfall in Manitoba, and it was a big one. We had about that much snow, and I was asked how long it will stay, and basically we'll have it until April of next year. So I know that's unfortunately, as you've probably heard, that's the bad news story is our winters are getting much shorter, and that's affecting the Arctic, which is going to affect everybody's climate, not just our climate. So we have a strong focus on climate and understanding the Arctic environment. And part of that strong focus is a very large grant program that helps to run that huge ship you see over there. It's a multi-country activity, but the Amneston is a Canadian ship, and we're the lead researchers on that ship, studying changes in the Arctic, from sea ice to seals. And as you can see, this ship has what's called a moon pool in it, so they can actually, when they're stationary like that, they can open a hole in the bottom of the ship, and sea life actually comes and checks things out. The Natural Resources Institute. So the Natural Resources Institute was founded in 1968. As you can see here, it was established as an interdisciplinary unit. What this doesn't tell you is that it was established by the Ford Foundation. And there were, I think, 25 or 26 of these institutes established across North America. There are 2 left, one in the US and ours. And part of the reason why there's only 2 left is that they were the only 2 that became degree granting institutes, so that when the money ran out from the Ford Foundation, the university started to fund the institutes. So as you can see here, the mission of our institute is to create, preserve, communicate, and apply interdisciplinary knowledge in areas of resource and environmental management, and thereby contribute to the well-being of people in Manitoba, Canada, and the world. The institute program, I'll just leave that up there for a minute, but the institute program is master's and PhD only. We don't have an undergraduate program. And over the years, we've honed our master's program. It used to be have quite a heavy course load because we didn't have an undergraduate silo, as we call it, feeding us students. And many of the students didn't come with background in natural resources and the environment. Of course, that's changed over a 50-year period. Many more students now take that as part of their undergraduate studies. So we've been able to reduce the number of courses that students have to take. And we've now focused more on the research and at the master's level and research projects, as I'll say a little bit more about in a minute, that result in a thesis, and many result in publication as well. Many of the things that we try to do are listed up here, and you've been reading, are not unlike things that many environment and resource facilities are attempting to do. We're a very small unit. We have 7 faculty members only in our unit, so we're quite tiny. So our program's threefold mandate is to teach resource management skills leading to the Master of Natural Resource Management degree, and to conduct applied research on current problems in resources management, and to provide a forum for the examination of resource issues in order to raise public awareness. Our PhD program, which is only about a decade old now, provides students with a degree in natural resources and environmental management. Prior to that, we used to take advantage of interdisciplinary PhD programs. Many universities in Canada have an interdisciplinary PhD that students can access from all sorts of different faculties, but they don't really have a home. And that was a difficult part for us, and so we wanted to create our own PhD program. And obviously students are required to conduct original research, synthesize that work, and demonstrate a contribution to theory and practice. And Wiki, who's here, is a perfect example of that. She finished her PhD in, what year did you finish, Wiki? In 2010, right? So that's recent. I thought it was more longer ago. So if you have questions about our PhD program, Wiki can answer them all. Just a couple of quick notes about my colleagues and the sorts of things that they do. Dr. Nikki Koper, she's one of only 2 applied ecologists in our natural scientists in our program. Fikret Burkus, who's the CRC chair, is the other. He used to study fish. In fact, he doesn't do that anymore. He works on management issues and people, but he is an applied ecologist by training. Nikki, though, practices what she learned, and she spent a lot of time looking at prairie bird species and the impact from agriculture and oil development on prairie bird species. Ian Davidson Hunt is a graduate of our program of the Natural Resources Institute, and then was hired into our fold. And he works closely with a number of First Nations in Canada, particularly in Northern Ontario. But he's been working on this very big World Heritage Site project in the Boreal Forest. As you may know, there's an international effort to protect more of the Boreal Forest area in the world. And we're working, in fact, there's been a submission now for a World Heritage Site in the Boreal Forest that encompasses parts of Manitoba and Ontario. And Ian's been working very closely on that. And Sophia is a First Nations person that Ian has been working with on that project. And then this last picture is just where our homes. So that's the faculty home and the geology building, and this one down here is the Natural Resources Institute. So I'll end there just saying again that it's a pleasure to be here, and I'll reiterate the goals that have been established already of our MOU, and I hope that we're able to achieve those things. It's very difficult, particularly in the time we're in now, in terms of the economies of our countries, to provide the sorts of money that researchers and students need for exchanges and programs like that, but hopefully we'll be able to achieve some of those things over the coming years. So thank you very much. And I'd be happy, before I talk more, if people have any questions about the faculty, but I'll stop there. Thank you very much. No, that's all right.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and we have seen that we can have a future collaboration in some other interesting field and interesting unit. For example, for myself, I quite I'm interested in the seal, the place that
yes.
the iceberg.
Yes.
In the north. I want to go there and do research,
yes.
Bringing my students there and then enjoy the ice and snow.
It's very cold.
It's minus something, yeah?
Yes, no, very many minuses.
Mm-hmm. And also
even Winnipeg, we can have -30 is not unusual in the winter.
And also we are also we have some imagination to welcome the research on the botanic and the forest.
Yeah,
and
then
Ian, yes,
yes,
you can come enjoy our tropical rainforest here and stay with us in month in the forest.
He's spending too much time in South America already. One of the things I didn't mention as part of this is that we do quite a bit of work on water as well, which is why Wiki came and did work with us. So, and as here, water's become a very important issue all over the world, and so there's more funding available for water research. We have a new chair in water sustainability or something like that at the university. So I think that's one of the areas for growth between our two units, and so does my dean. I should have mentioned that as part of the presentation.
Perhaps I can ask some of my colleagues to talk. Ajahn Priyaporn, please have some question and collaboration.
I should have said, I don't mean to put any on the spot, I just thought you might have had questions about our faculty. I should have said that the university itself is a very old institution. It's what we call in Canada, we're part of the U15, the largest 15 universities in Canada. They're all research institutions. They all have medical schools and professional programs like law and engineering and those sorts of things. Our university has about 27,000 students that attend. So you can appreciate that the NRI is very tiny in that big world. Okay, I'm just going to get a drink and then I can move on.